Hey folks, welcome. All right, hopefully this isn't going to get too loud. It's Thursday, April 30th, last day of April. Yay. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We're going to do our regular class today. We're going to do a little bit of a recap. We've been doing these for, I think this is the fifth or sixth week. I think it's the fifth week we've been doing classes. Covered a lot of topics, actually, more than we probably would have covered ever in a standard class environment with all of you here. Just because we're not practicing, repeating, going through, refining the drills. We're just kind of doing them, and you're doing them with me, and then you can take that time after the fact to do them on your own again and again. And hopefully you all have been. So we've covered a lot of topics. We're going to do a bit of a recap today. We're going to do our standard conditioning exercises. I know you're all excited about that. We're going to do our footwork drills that we always do, and then we're going to review all of our guards. We're going to review our defensive actions, our blocks, parries, right? And we're going to go through our cuts, all 8 cuts. Then we're going to do a bit on tempo. I know we talked a little bit last Thursday about tempo. We're going to talk a little bit more about tempo, and then do some combination actions at the end of the last section of the class. Then we're going to still do our minute and 30-second now plank. Hopefully you're all doing that with me, and we'll go from there. Sorry about Tuesday. We've been working on a new routine, developing a new bit of a new workout for us. I know last year and the year before we really focused on Sally's. If you haven't done Sally's and push-ups, I recommend doing it. Just do it with caution and watch your shoulders. But it's a great shoulder exercise and upper body push-up exercise. We got one like that in the works, and it'll be fun. Good song, good effort, good workout, really hard workout. So I'll probably put that up, and a few of us will do that separately, maybe via Zoom or something in the next couple weeks, and we'll get that up for everybody to try. And I don't know, right? We're still here. I'm still by myself. I'm hoping, we'll see what happens over the next few weeks with Ohio, right? Things are going to start to slowly open up, and that may be a good thing. It may not be. I have no intention of us opening up here for a bit, and when we do, we're going to do a very controlled environment from the perspective of limited number of people per class. I've got a registration system now for you guys to do class signups, so you can sign up for the classes you want to go to. We can limit the size that way. We can ensure there's no overlap, and we can offer multiple classes in one night with a gap in between so folks can come in and go out without necessarily overloading the place. I want to keep anything we do here, whenever we do it, right, sometime maybe in June, to less than 10 people, myself included, or the instructor included, total in here at any point in time. I have all the enhanced safety and cleaning protocols that we've been doing and that we will continue to do. We are going to limit loaner gear, as I've said in a couple of videos. I'm going to put a nice video out, I think tomorrow, on our Facebook page, just talking with everybody. It's a good time. Tomorrow is May 1st, obviously, right? We've been in this situation now, depending on where you are, for roughly 2 months, right? Right after the Arnold here in Ohio, things kind of heated up a little bit and closed down a little bit, and then officially in the middle of March. It's been going about 6 to 8 weeks. It took us a while to get through this, and now we're at a point where I think we've got a period of time now where we can really start to transit on our transformations, right? So I'll talk more about that tomorrow, but I wanted to introduce it tonight and really look at this May 1st as a start of a transition point for all of you, right? Use the next 30 to 60, 90 days as a development and transformation time frame, right? We've gotten all the itches out, right? We've relaxed. We've done all the things we wanted to do, and maybe some things we didn't want to do. And now we're at a point where it's kind of almost, I hate saying it, but it's kind of becoming a little standard practice, right? BAU, I would call it, business as usual. So now you get a chance to kind of transform, right? Now you can clear your head and start focusing on a new you and a new chapter, right? So we'll talk more about that tomorrow, but I wanted to introduce it tonight. I'm going to try it. I think it's pretty important, right, that we go through this every once in a while, and this is a good time, and it feels right. So with that, we're going to start with our stretching routine, a sun salutation that we do. Then we're going to work into our jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, and then get into our footwork. So with that, feet shoulder width apart, up to the ceiling. down to your toes, knees, ankles, floor, whatever you can reach. Walk it out. Position a downward dog. Butt up in the air. Push those heels toward the floor. Dive down. Roll up into cobra. Stretch your lower back. Up into plank. Keep your core nice and tight. Left foot up. Get a nice stretch. Back. Right foot up. Back. Head to your chin to your chest. Head between your arms. Roll up on those heels a little bit. Those toes a little bit. Walk it in. Stay on your tiptoes. Stay in a squat. Let's roll up. Reach toward the ceiling. Nice and slow. And again, stay on your tiptoes, right? Wobbling is a good thing. You want to work on those stabilizers that you don't normally work. This will help you do that, right? When you're walking around at home, at your job, get on your tiptoes. Walk around a little bit. Stretch out to the walls. Great balance opportunity. Any chance you can get to stand on your tiptoes, do it. While you're cooking at the stove, just walk around on your toes, right? It'll build your calves, it'll build your muscles, it'll build your stabilizers. It'll put it's a good overall lower body workout, and it's a good balance workout and awareness as well. Might look a little goofy, but who cares? Everything looks goofy nowadays, right? So, jumping jacks, 25 jumping jacks, your pace, and then we're going to go into push-ups, 20 push-ups, and 40 sit-ups. So I'm going to shut my mic off so you don't hear me bouncing around, and be back. So, 25. Ready? Go. Okay. So if that's, you want to do more than that, do more than that, right? Absolutely. Jumping jacks are old school, but they're a super great way to just get a nice condition and get your heart rate going. 20 push-ups, knuckles, hands, on your knees, totally cool, right? You do what you can do, but just remember to always push yourself every time you do them, right? So 20 push-ups, your pace, nice. Bring your upper arm parallel to the floor. That's how far down you want to go. Push all the way up. Get a full extension in each direction. All right? So, with that, 20 push-ups, your count. Okay, remember when you're doing your push-ups, right? You can a lot of variations. Push-ups are awesome in the variations and how you can work your body, right? I just did a very standard grip push-up. My hands were about shoulder width apart. They were actually quite aligned, so nice skeletal alignment in my arm, right, to my shoulder. You can do wide grip push-ups. You can't necessarily go down. You can't go up as far because you are working an angle, right? But it's a great, works the different heads of your shoulder, works the different parts of your lats and traps and different parts of your chest, right? Great exercises. You can do close grip push-ups. Usually we'll do diamonds, and the way they do it, reason they do diamonds is they put your elbows out to the side, which gives you a little more stability. Can you do close grip push-ups with your elbows coming in? Sure, but you know, you get a limited range of motion because they hit your chest. So you move your elbows out to the side so you get more of a range, and that's why diamonds are what they are, because it gets our elbows off to the side. You can move your hands to all kinds of different positions, and it'll work, and you can feel that working different parts of your arm. So, sit-ups, 40 sit-ups. Again, your style, your pace. I'm going to do crunches like I always do. You do what works best for you, but mix it up a little bit. And then Don't limit yourself to the ones we do here today, right? You can start your day off, roll out of bed, drop onto the floor, and do some push-ups and sit-ups, right? It takes you 3 minutes and you're done, right? You get a nice foundation and work those muscles in the morning. So, sit-ups, your pace. Ready? All right. A lot of variations in sit-ups. Anything you do that works your core and compresses the core, right, is a good thing, right? You want to work lower abdominals, upper abdominals. Usually if you're pulling your feet up or in, you're working your lower abs. If you're pulling your upper body up and in, you're working your upper abs. So you want to try to work those in concert so you can get an overall full abdominal exercise. You can do oblique twists, right? Work the sides. And again, anything you can feel that motion, that's the most important thing. All right, push-ups and sit-ups are awesome exercises. Uses your natural body weight and your natural geometry as a workout, and that's totally a good thing. So let's do some footwork. Standard single advance, single retreat each side. We're going to go 15 up, 15 back. Switch sides, 15 up and back. So we're going to up at 5 because I want to get a little bit more of a workout out of it. Right foot forward, left foot back. Pushing, step and pull yourself into position. Standard gathering step. Right? Vary your steps. Give yourself a little bit of a bigger retreat or a larger advance forward. Right? Think about the measure that we talked about and how far our opponent is and what we want to do to get into our opponent's space or out of our opponent's space. Right? So right foot forward. Ready? 15 up, 15 back. That's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. Switch your feet. Left foot forward. All right. 15 forward and back. Ten, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. Remember, don't cant your body left or right when you're doing them. You don't want to find yourself leaning forward because if you do this in the drill, you're going to do this when you're fighting. Right? Want to maintain a nice posture, good center of gravity, good body alignment. Right? And the whole reason we do that is so we always have options to move. Right? We're never stuck. Oh man. For me to move out of this position going in that vector, I've got to reposition weight in order to move, right? So you want that weight distribution and that movement to be very, uniform, very comfortable, right? Insert the word you're comfortable with, but in a way that allows you the most flexibility. And the way you do that is maintaining proper alignment in your body, right? So double advance, double retreats. Right foot forward, left foot back. We're going to do, let's do it. 15 each side. This will be a long one. You'll thank me tomorrow when your legs are killing. You can't get out of bed. You get to stay in for a little bit. All right, so ready. 15 forward, two advances, 2 retreats. Ready? Go. Put some pep in those retreats, right? Feel it. It's 5, Transition right to the front. Don't wait. Good. I think that's 8. Transition 10, right? Boom, good. Want to go right from the retreat back into the forwards. It's 12, 13, 14, backwards, 15. Good, awesome. The reason I did that, right, because usually when we're in a fight, we're in an encounter, we're in a tournament, we're in a setting, wherever you are, you're always moving, right? The last thing you want to be is that fighter that gets 2 steps and they stop, right? Too many people, you can count them. Bang, bang, and they stop. And they rest. Step, step. Okay, let's reset. No, who said to reset? Did you score a point? Did you defeat your opponent? Are you safe? The answer is no to any of those questions, then why are you stopping, right? Always keep moving. You will surprise your opponent if you don't stop moving. Yeah, right? Everyone expects 2 or 3 strikes. If you didn't score by then, let's say we're in a tournament setting, right? You didn't score by then, people expect you're going to just naturally kind of stop. No, right? Don't stop until you score your point, center call stop, or you get out of bounds or your opponent gets out of bounds, and that requires you to stop and reset. Don't stop. Just try it. When you're doing the footwork, keep it going. Constant speed. Every time you practice your footwork, never fall back on your heels every time. You're training yourself to stop. And I know we do it, but always kind of keep moving. Always keep moving. So you're always training your body to not stop. If you train go, you're going to do that. You're going to develop that muscle memory, and you're going to do that in every match you fight in. So train yourself to work through that and work past that. And the only way to do that is just to keep moving. Left foot forward, right foot back. Double advance, double retreat. We're going to do a constant motion, all 15. Do not stop moving the entire 15 up and back. Ready? And that retreating step, get that rocking motion. Bring your foot back, get yourself keyed in. I think that's 5, 6. That's 8. I think this is 10. We'll go with it, right? 5 more. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. Awesome. Nice job. Footwork drills are amazing, right? You can't get, footwork is everything. I say it a million times and I will always say it. I don't care what you do in life. If you can't have a good base, you don't have a good foundation, you're not moving well, you're not going to succeed at whatever you're doing. I don't care what it is, right? I don't care what sport you play. I don't care if you're walking in your street, working in your car. It doesn't matter, right? If you don't have good footwork, you're not as successful as you can be. Have I seen people do well with horrible footwork? Yep, I have. Everyone has good days. Everyone has bad days. All I got to remember is how am I today? So we're going to do some cut drills. Before we do cut drills, I wanted to talk a little bit about why we're doing this and talk for a few minutes. Let me get my saber about what we're doing here, right? Don't just do the drills for the sake of doing the drills, right? You got to do the drills for your reason. Everybody here on this call, everybody in this room, everybody who fights with something has a reason for doing it, and it's unique and it's specific to you. That means if you phone it in, which means you just kind of walk through this and don't care, right? And don't put yourself into this footwork and into these drills, you're not aligning your actions with your purpose and your intention, right? So what you have to do, this is, everybody calls it a martial art, right? Everybody's martial arts. Yes, okay, fine. It is a set of martial techniques that we practice that's codified under a system. So yes, that's what my definition of martial art, right? I teach a set of techniques that we put together. We've adapted them according to the weapon we're using, the situation that we're in, and we have a set of martial techniques that we practice. We can apply those techniques to tournaments, to the street, right, to the stage, to a lot of different areas, right? Depending on how we apply them, that's where you get into sport and theater and whatever. So, but I'm still the practitioner. I'm the person that's practicing this set of techniques. If I don't put myself and my intention and my purpose behind what I do, you can tell it's totally empty, right? You can see a person that's just kind of walking through it, or they haven't quite connected those dots yet, right? So I guess what I was trying to go with this one is, what you got to think about is, who am I as a fighter, as a person, as a practitioner of these techniques? How do I put my personality, my stamp? I'm not saying change the techniques, but I'm saying, how do I put my essence into these techniques so that when someone sees me, they can go, yeah, there's Tom. Yeah, he's got a mask on and a jacket with a sea of other guys with black masks and black jacket, but that's Tom. Why? Because I can see his style. I can see the way he fights, right? Might not be, I'm not going to be the best fighter in the room. That's a guarantee, right? Anybody that says that isn't the best fighter in the room, right? Anybody that says they are the best fighter, they're not, right? They're just saying that for their own benefit. But I do put myself into what I do, right? And I have kind of, I don't know how to say this. Anyway, think about what you're doing. Practice these drills with purpose and with intention, right? Practice your technique. Have pride in what you're doing. I have good footwork. Okay, my legs, shoot, I got to work on that. Yeah, think of these things. Have pride in what you do. I tell my daughter that all the time, right? Pride in ownership and pride in action, right? If you don't have pride in action in what you're doing, why are you doing it, right? Because that comes out in the content. I don't care if you're swinging a stick or writing a poem or singing a song or driving a car, right? It comes out in content. So the whole thing around this is move with purpose, move with intention, move with your purpose, right? And put yourself into what you're doing. Don't just do the techniques. So get off my soapbox there for a second. All right, cool. Let's do some cuts and let's go through our guards first. So let's go through 8 guards that we have, right? So right foot forward, left foot back, middle guard. Arms are extended, tips toward our opponent's eyes. Lower down, low guard. Tip is pointed down toward their shin, ankle, toes, right? Ground. I'm opening up the high line. Now I want to bring our saber or sword in to an inside middle guard. So my hands are guarded. They're in the same plane as the front of my body. A little bit of a limited reach, but I'm still pointing toward my opponent. Step back with our right leg into a rear low guard. Now we can be back behind the leg. We can be off to the side. We can strike with a back edge from here, strike with a front edge from here, rear low guard. Up into shoulder guard. So bring it right up to our shoulder. Same hip position, same footwork. Up into high guard. We're going to step forward. Forward high guard, right? My hands are back. I'm not out forward. Hands are back. And then last, I'm going to square my hips back forward and do a high middle guard. So I'm pointing toward my opponent's eyes. My hands are up at shoulder height. Back down to middle guard. Let's switch our feet. Left foot forward. Forward middle guard. Low. Inside middle guard. Step back into rear. Right? Up into shoulder. Over your head into high guard. Step forward into high forward. And last, high middle guard. Back to inside middle guard. All right. Let's do it one more time. Right foot forward, left foot back, middle guard. Boom. Hands are at the sternum height. Right? They're out. Handshake grip on my saber. We'll go through that. Right? Again, this is a bit of a review for us all today. Right? Low guard. Hands are still extended forward. Inside middle guard. Hands are in now, but my blade is still pointing toward my opponent. Rear low. Shoulder. Hips didn't move. Orientation of my body didn't change. High guard. Forward high. Middle high guard. Good. Back down middle guard. Switch feet. Left foot forward. Middle guard. Arms still extended, but again, our opposite leg from our lead hand, I don't care if you're lefty or righty, right? If your opposite leg is forward, Your shoulder is still back, so you still got a limited reach, right? Low, inside middle, low rear, shoulder, high guard, forward high, middle high. Arms are out, tips at my opponent's head. Good, cool, awesome. Let's go through our defense, our blocks. Right foot forward, left foot back, middle guard. Inside middle block. No part, if you're looking in a mirror, and I strongly encourage you all to do this across from a mirror, right? No part of my shoulder is on the outside of my blade. My arms are in for the parry. Remember, I'm accepting an incoming attack, blocking that attack so that I can counterattack. Inside middle guard. Outside middle block. Low, pull that hilt. Inside low block. Outside low block. Inverted or hanging parry, depending on how we do. Outside inverted. Inside high block. Step to the inside. Blade is over my head, not my hilt. Outside high block. Stepped to my outside. Back to guard. Let's do that again. Inside middle block. Outside middle block. Inside low. Outside low. Inside inverted. Outside inverted. Inside high. Outside high. Good. Left foot forward. Same blocks. Inside middle. Outside middle. Inside low. Outside low. Inside inverted. Outside inverted. Inside high. Outside high. Let's do that again. I don't do it from the left side that much. That felt awkward. Left foot forward, middle inside, middle guard. Inside middle. Outside middle. Inside low. Outside low. Inside inverted. Outside inverted. Inside high block. Outside high block. Back to guard. Good. Nice. All right. Covered our guards, covered our defense. Let's go through our cuts. All 8 cuts, all 3 ways. What does that mean? That means shoulder, elbow, and wrist, right? I can cut from my shoulder, I can cut from my elbow, I can cut from my wrist. Usually that depends on what you're doing and how close you are to your opponent as to which is most effective or which leaves you open for the most counterattacks or corresponding simultaneous attacks. So let's start in natural pose. We're going to do, actually, no, we're going to do this different. We're going to do each of the cuts up and back. So right foot forward, left foot back, middle guard. Downward descending cut from the shoulder, full cut, which means I'm cutting through the bubble around my opponent. Pop, pop, right, through to the end. 2, 3, we're going to do 5 each side. 4, 5, backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's cut from the elbows. 1, we're going to end in a half cut. So we're going to start and end in a middle guard position. 2, 3, 4, 5, backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wrist, wrist. So we're in really close. We're just doing these little circular cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Rising cuts. So upward cuts. We're going to start in rear low guard. Why? It's the direct cut from that guard. Yes, can I cut here? Sure. But I have to transition through rear low guard in order to do this. It's the shortest path for the cut from start to impact. Rear low guard, rising cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Elbows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wrists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Awesome. Horizontal cuts. Midline cuts. Cuts to the torso. Usually we demonstrate these at the chest height, right? These are great attacking structures at the torso, right? Your opponent goes high to parry a block, vertical cut. You come down to a torso cut. I get hit all the time because I raise my guard too high and I leave my torso open, right? So learn from my mistakes. These are great cuts. Just drop them down to the midline so you're hitting just below the sternum, right? So it's essentially a low line cut if we use the sternum as our cross, right? Just below the sternum or just at the sternum because you want to get, again, below their arm and where their blades are at. So horizontal cuts, shoulders, wrists, elbows. Yes, all 15. Ready? Shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Elbows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wrists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Awesome. Let's do our downward cuts and our upward flick back. So our back edge cuts down. So what we're going to do is we're going to step forward. Every cut down, we'll step forward with an upward back edge cut. So we'll start left foot forward, high guard. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do those again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. That back edge upward cut is an incredibly effective cut, right? Yes, it's a round, circular, infinite edge, right? But I still want to say back edge, front edge, where my knuckles align, front edge, back edge, right? So, notice with all your cuts, let me pause for a second. Make sure every cut you're doing, right? Make sure your blade is moving your body into your opponent, right? So what I mean by that is I don't want to step into my opponent's space and then throw the attack. Step in, throw the attack, because inevitably, every time I do that, I'm bringing myself into measure, into distance to my opponent, right? Without any threat. Step in, I'm not posing a threat, I just moved into their space. Oh, now I'm cutting. Let your blade pull you forward. Let your blade pull you forward. I'm off the side camera here, right? As I step in, let my blade pull into my attack. Hopefully I was doing that with all of our cuts before. Even if I'm going backwards, let my blade push me away. Push me away. Push me. I don't want to step away and then cut, because then I'm leaving the measure of my opponent, right, before I throw my attack. So remember, any attack you throw, make sure it's blade first, body second. Move your blade into you, just like insert your sports analogy here, whether you're throwing a baseball, hitting a serve in tennis, hitting a bat with a baseball, you're actually putting your body first, right? So, but throwing, body goes in to throw, right? My blade pulls me into my cut and attack. Okay? Cool. So what did we cover? We covered our blocks, we covered our guards, we covered our cuts. To talked a little bit about mechanics for a cut, right? We need to do some more conditioning. All right, so sword saber down. Another 20 push-ups, 40 sit-ups. Your count, your pace. I'm going to shut my mic off here in between so you don't hear me huffing and puffing. Again, sorry, I'm probably screaming. Use this to grow. Push yourself a little bit farther. Just get one better every single time. Just one. That's all you need. You do one better every time. That's awesome. Congratulations, right? That's what we want. All right, so 20 push-ups, 40 sit-ups. Okay, when you're doing them, I said this before, I will continue to say it, right? Get that full extension, right? Push yourself. If I just sit here and go, yes, you know what? That's a great shoulder workout. Those pulses are a great workout. So if that's your intention, good. If that's your intention, work it. If you want to do the full range of motion, get down to parallel to the ground, right? All the way extension. Just be careful you don't lock your elbows and hyperextend your arms, right? Be careful. But again, always keep constant tension in your muscles when you're doing it. That way you always get the most maximum benefit out of the exercise. So 40 sit-ups, your pace. All right, so if you were wondering what the heck I was just doing, I wanted to do those pulses, right? So real short, quick movements. Sorry. But you find you do them pretty quickly, so I always try to push myself. So if we say do 40, I'll try to do 50 or 60 of them. It actually is a bit easier because I'm not putting full extension on my core as I go back and forth with the full crunches or extensions and compressions, right? Depending on how you want to say it. But those pulses I like as a little bit of a workout. It kind of gets tension, it keeps it there and goes back and forth. Dun, 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 dun. So, all right. What are we going to talk about for the rest of the time we got together here? Let's go through some combination actions, right? We do a lot of that, right? When you're in an encounter, you've got a couple things to think about, right? You're going to think about, am I going to attack my opponent first? Right? Am I going to initiate the overall action for that engagement? Am I going to respond to their action? Or am I going to wait for their action? And I have two choices for responding. I can respond and counterattack, or I can respond by attacking in tempo. And we talked a little bit about tempo last Thursday. We talked a tiny bit about it earlier tonight. So tempo. Tempo is the time, and I'm going to work with, in the frame of context of what I'm talking about here, I'm talking about myself fighting against an opponent. Tempo is the time it takes them to start and finish their action. Right? Because my response is compared to their action. Right? So, my opponent throws an attack. Let's turn the tables a little. I'm my opponent. I come in to throw an attack. I'm starting my attack. I'm finishing my attack. In that time, that's one tempo. Doesn't mean it's a second, doesn't mean it's a minute. It just means that's the amount of time that it takes my opponent to throw their attack. When I talk in the context of tempo, I can respond with a two-tempo response. So I can respond with a parry. They come down to a head strike. Vertical cut to the top of my head. I step out, hard block, full action, bang, stop their attack. That completes the movement, right? Timing started when they started their action. Timing finished when they finished their action. They finished their action with my parry. So that is a one-tempo response. I'm responding in tempo. My response is a parry. My counterattack is a second tempo. Now it's my initiation. Now I'm initiating the action. I'm setting the tempo. All right, so again, my opponent started. They came down with a vertical cut to my head. I stepped out for a parry. Same tempo. Counterattack, second tempo. So it's a two-tempo action. We talk about this all the time with this one step. Right? If I was to move out of the way and counterattack in the same time frame, so envision the same attack coming to the top of my head, I parry and counterattack. My parry isn't truly a hard block, it's more of a defensive shield because their attack is coming down. That rolls directly into an attack. I'm doing it in the same tempo. Ideally, I'm landing my attack in the same time they're landing theirs. So they come in, I see this strike coming down, I step out, set up that block, that wall, that shield, around to strike. The reason I do this, and it's called it's a hanging parry. I don't really parry, but I kind of hang my blade out there, come around. Is if they do track my movement, if they alter the course of their attack, I still have a protective element between me and my opponent's blade. Right? Use the pommel as a lever, use the mechanical device for what it is, come around and strike. If I do all that in the same tempo as my opponent's attack, it's an in-tempo response. So, strike. Now, my opponent's coming down. We talk about mezzo tempo, half tempo, contra tempo, right? There's all kinds of different, Italians love the word tempo and have a million different words for it, right? Essentially what I'm saying is my opponent starts their attack. I throw an attack before they complete theirs. So I'm in between their tempo. I'm getting a half tempo attack. So I'm in middle guard, right? You're my opponent. You go into a high guard as your invitation. Or I go into a middle guard and you go into a high guard as your response to my middle guard. Remember we talked about that, right? You're going to throw that downward cut, but I'm giving you no incentive. I drop down into a low guard. Now I might even lean forward a little bit, give you that target that I know you want because you went into high guard, right? So, two-tempo response. You come down, strike, parry, counterattack. In-tempo response, same tempo response. Hanging, parry, strike, around. I may not even contact my opponent's blade in their cut, but their cut's going to come through as my cut is coming down, right? An attack in tempo. Contra tempo or half tempo or mezzo tempo, I'm in low guard. As my opponent starts to throw their attack, I see an area of attack and I take that area quickly. Right? So all I'm doing is bringing up, striking in. I'm ending, by the way, in the same position I'm in no matter what my response time is. But I'm in this low guard, bang. So I actually am following their hands. As soon as they come into position, before they even strike, I'm hitting their hands. So it's a attack inside of the tempo of my opponent. I see their guard, I see the invitation they're giving me, and I'm going to take, I'm going to attack them before or as they're attacking me. I'm going to get off the line of attack, create a new line of attack, and strike them before they have an opportunity to strike me. So does that make sense? I hope so. Right? So tempo is about a response to your opponent's action or the timing that you set if you're initiating the action yourself. Okay? So we talk a lot about tempo. Wanted to give that kind of primer. So, cool. All right, let's do some combinations. We're going to do a real simple combination. Then we're going to do a midline combination, a high line combination, and we'll go from there. We'll see how much time we got as we go through. So midline combination, we're going to be real simple. We're going to do inside middle block, retreating, counterattack forward. So it's we're going to start in middle guard. Our opponent's going to come in. We're going to inside middle block, step in, attack. Now, I'm going to do that two ways. I'm going to step out, and with the same foot, I'm going to come back in for the strike. Right? Then I'm going to do it with same side retreating and coming in. So I don't have to close a lot of distance to counterattack. Sometimes I want to stay close to my opponent. So we're going to do both of those. And you can mix these up on your own too. Once you have the mechanics, you can sit there and say, okay, attack's coming in. It's coming to my inside. Maybe I want to block it back with an outside middle block, which is something we wouldn't necessarily do because they're coming in and I want to throw this inside back and I want to come into them, into their inside because they just did this, right? So you want to come into that inside. You can mix these up all you want, and that's really the creative side of it. That's where you understand what direction you want to take your movements. The more variations you can practice, the more things you'll have in muscle memory. So, right foot forward, left foot back, middle guard. Step back, retreating middle block. Stepping forward, cut. We're going to do 10 of those. 1. Arms in for that parry. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. Parry. 7. Parry. 8. 9. 10. Good. Opposite side. So now I want to stick to the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Let's do a double inside block. Again, like I said earlier today, a lot of people are, one hit and stop. Never, ever only throw one attack. Ever, 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 ever. If you can throw one, you can throw two, right? I've had that pounded into me by every instructor I've ever had in my entire life. If you can hit once, you can hit twice, right? So never, ever, ever throw one attack. That being said, a lot of people do, right? But if you get that person that likes to throw those combination attacks, great. Let's do a double retreat with an inside middle block each side. So retreat 1, 2, and we're going to counter forward with a vertical strike down to the head. Bang, straight forward. Right? So right foot forward, left foot back, middle guard. 1, 2, strike. Boom. 1, 2, step. 1, 2, step. 1, 2, whoop. Aha. 1, 2. I really want to move back for both of these. Step. Bang. Step back. 1, 2. Stepping forward. Strike. Step back. 1, 2. Strike. 1, 2. Strike. Let's say 3 more. 1, 2. Strike. 1, 2. Strike. Last one. 1, 2. Strike. Good. Good. Cool. It's a good drill, right? And again, so I said don't overthrow one hit. I said before, don't ever stop until you strike your opponent, are told to stop, or are out of bounds for another particular reason, and you recognize your surroundings. And sidebar. Don't. Two ways to think about this, right? I get people all the time that when I fight, we fight them. I've hit them. I stop. They keep coming. Now, I know that a lot of people train for a tournament setting, and one of the rules in a lot of tournaments, not all rule sets, but a lot of rule sets is you stop when the center says stop or a judge yells halt, right? Or hold. I get that. I totally get that, right? Don't stop until you're told to stop. That being said, I'm not going to punish my opponent and strike them 2, 3, 4 times because someone didn't tell me to stop. Right? Also being the case, I expect my opponent to acknowledge when they've been hit and stop. Right? Far too often do we get that junior person I don't care what martial art you practice, there's always that junior person that doesn't quite get the fact that when we're sparring and when we make contact, we're doing it with control and not with full intensity by any means, right? And they'll expect, oh, you just tapped me, I'm going to keep fighting at you. Inevitably, that person needs to learn, don't do that. They need to learn that you are being hit. You have to acknowledge you're being hit. You got to be aware that you're being hit, right? And I think out of the lessons, the awareness side of it is the biggest one. So I have to be aware of my body to know that where I got struck and where I haven't been struck. So I know that, heck, I'm getting struck on the inside a lot. I better do something to account for that, right? So I can learn and grow. But again, so two things. Don't be that person that doesn't acknowledge being hit by their opponent. Because again, this is practice. Right? I don't even a tournament is practice. It's, we're not surviving. It's not a fight to the death, right? I don't care. You can't simulate fighting with sharps. This doesn't work, not mentally, at least for me, because it's a different mindset. This is still, the application of this for most of us is still a sports setting, right? So be aware of your body. Be aware of when you've been hit. Be aware of what your opponent is doing. As an opponent, be aware that if I've hit my opponent once, if I hit them twice or three times and I kind of abuse that privilege of being the attacker and hitting my opponent, that's going to come back at me at some point, right? As Nicole would say, karma's a bitch, right? That's going to come back at you. Whether you're going to get the enforcer to come in or something and you're going to get hit, you're going to learn a lesson. So be aware of your surroundings, both sides of the equation. Don't go overly aggressively hitting someone. More than you should. Recognize and acknowledge when you've been hit. You will have much better sparring partners. People will want to fight you. I always say I'm not going to be the best fighter in the room, but I better be the person everybody wants to fight, right? Because that's my goal. I want to be the person that everybody has a good time fighting, has a good fight, and wants to come back and fight again. And I think I'm doing well in trying to achieve that goal, right? So, cool. Let's do another combination. So let's talk about high blocks, right? You're going to get that person that strikes consecutively down. Now, repeated vertical strikes are not something you're going to see very often unless you've got a person that practices that in an art where that's a fundamental tactic, like in a kendo, where you're coming in with the strike, and I'm going to be a poor representation of that because I don't practice that art. But that being said, right, the high blocks are hard to do if you don't practice them often. Right? So what I want us to do is step back, high block, step back, high block, step back, high block, step off the line for a counterattack. I want to keep my hands high for that counterattack. So I'm going to do a high line horizontal for that counter because, again, remember my opponent's blade is up high. I want to keep my blade there. So let's go. Right foot forward, left foot back, step back, high, high. High block, step out, counterattack. Now I closed the line with my back leg. I didn't keep it in the middle where I can then shift to the opposite side. I closed the line and came all the way across and created that channel in front. Just what I kind of do sometimes. I know it's a pro and a con for me, but so again, step back, high block, high block. Now, when you're doing your retreating high blocks, keep those hands in front of your body. If I drop my hands down to do this, every time I do this, I'm wide open for that attack. Right? So when you're doing your high line blocks, your high blocks, parry and high, right? I want to keep my hands up here for these, right? I'm almost just kind of twisting my arm around here. Now, it also gives you a lot of time to look at that moment in between, that contratempo, that half moment in between the attacks for a counterattack. Somebody's going to tell me I'm getting this wrong. Rock, I hope I have this right? But in German, it's vor, nach, and indes, before, after, and in between. Right, so I can attack before, I can attack on the after, I can attack in the in-between. It's kind of the same, I kind of think, Tom's opinion, right? It's the same general thinking of attacking in tempo, after tempo, two-tempo attack, or contra-tempo attack. And I know there are going to be people that are going to say, no, that's bullshit, Okay, fine. This is my interpretation of it, my perspective of it, right? Tell me yours, let's talk about it. We'll all get better. I'm all for that. Right, so retreating high block. We're going to do this 5 times each side. Retreating high block. One more retreating high block. Stepping out. Horizontal attack. 1. Switch your feet. Let's go inside each time. 1, 2, 3. Right foot forward. 1, 2, 3. Out. Left. Yep. Left foot forward. 1, 2, 3. Strike. Right foot forward. Inside. 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 Step off the line. Response. Left foot forward. Last one. 1, 2, 3. Strike. Right? That high block is probably the hardest and most unnatural technique. We always want to do this if we're going to get hit. We protect our vitals, protect our core. We hunch in, we protect everything, whether we're a boxer in here, whether we're just trying to protect the important parts, right? So getting the arms up will take some practice. But again, what am I doing? I'm protecting a shot coming down the top of my head, right? Now, a couple of things you got to be careful about when we talk about this, when we talk about high blocks. If I block too high up, the blade's going to come under my parry. If I block too far down, of course, they're going to hit my head first before they come through. If I block too far out, the blade is going to come in and roll right over the top and still strike. And again, if I block too far in, I don't get the benefit of the angle of that deflection. So as they're coming in, remember the angle of their attack. If I'm too close, they're going to roll over. If I'm too far out, they're going to roll over. So hopefully that makes sense. Right, a high block, again, I want my blade protecting my head, so my hands are outside. And again, I don't want to block my face. That's why I'm blocking with the blade, so my hands aren't in front of my eyes. Right? My blade is about at forehead height, about, what is that, 4 to 6 inches in front of my forehead. Right? Seems to be the optimal place for me to be. Start there, see how that feels. And if you can't work with a partner, right, just envision it coming through. But ideally, if you can work with a partner and just have them vertical cut to the top of the head and parry that. Start in place. Just block. Just move your hand. Block. Block. Right? Cool. Awesome. I wanted to do tonight a little bit of a recap. So I wanted to go through all of our guards. I wanted to go through the static defensive blocking positions that we have. I wanted to go through our cuts. We did all 8 cuts, all 8 guards, and all 8 blocks. We did not talk about the lunge and the thrusts, but we talked about that. I think it was a week ago. I think it was Tuesday last week. So look at that, especially with all the thrust challenges that are out there. Take a look at that, and that'll kind of be a refresher in the proper form and technique for a lunge. And I peer out that you can't see them, but I've got some tennis balls that we did for point drills. That's in that video, so you can take that video and make yourself some good target practice for thrusting attacks, right? For all of about $1 or $2 for some string and a tennis ball, which most of us probably have in the house anyway. So with that, we're going to do our minute 30 plank, and then we're going to do our closing sun salutation and then call it a wrap. You can do it minute 30 seconds, so get down into position. You can do it on your forearms, you can do it on your arms. I'm going to do it on my forearms tonight. We're going to go 1 minute and 30. You hold it as long as you can, and I know you all can go 1 minute and 30. So, ready? Go. I know I didn't say it in the beginning, but I hope everybody is safe. I hope everybody is healthy, or at least doing the best you can in the times that we're in. Stay connected, right? We have our Zoom session every Sunday night, so tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Get a few people on every week. It's good. That's all that matters. Anybody that needs to talk or wants to just connect with us again and say hello, come join us. The number is not in the invite, but I will put it in the invite for tomorrow, so those that want to attend can. It's just fun. We just talk for an hour, then we hang up. But I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's keeping busy, keeping moving. It's crazy. Anyway, so I'm glad I can be here. I'm glad you guys are here. As always, if you have any comments, anything you'd like to see, let me know. By the way, we're at 1 minute. 30 more seconds. Keep that core nice and tight. If you don't tighten your core, you're just working your back and your shoulders, and you're killing yourself, right? Your core is what keeps your body straight, not your back. well, it is a bit of your back, but the core area, if you don't keep a tight core, you're not getting the benefit out of this as you can. So let's go another 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Minute 30, and maybe a little bit more. Let's end with our sun salutation stretch. All right, so everybody up, feet shoulder width apart. Stretch your back first. If anyone I'm going to do a stretching video just to have recorded for us for those that need it. All the different stretches that you can do from your head out to your arms and hands down through your whole body. I'll try to put that together this weekend, pop it up. So feet shoulder width apart, up to the ceiling. And again, don't phone this in, right? This is one of the most important things we're going to start and end with. It's why we do it, right? I'm a lazy guy. If I don't have to do something, I won't. We're doing it for a purpose. Bend forward, touch the ground, toes, knees, ankles, whatever you can reach. Walk it forward, position in a downward dog. Butt up in the air, stretch the backs of your legs. Dive down, roll up. We're going to go right back up into downward dog again. Chin to your chest, head between your arms. We just did plank, so we can avoid that. Walk it in. Stay on your tiptoes. Roll up all the way to the ceiling. Hold it on the ceiling as you're stepping all the way up, reaching all the way forward. Hold it there. Reach out to the side walls. Really reach. And down. Thank you all very much. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was a good workout. Remember all the usual stuff, right? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave me a comment, forward it to your friends. All right, if there's anything you'd like to see, anything you want to cover, shoot me a message and we'll add it in. So thank you all for those that are watching now and those that are tuning in after the fact. And I will see you all again officially next week. Cheers. Thanks, folks.